Hi everyone, and welcome to my final episode on this Microsoft SQL Fundamentals course, and we talk about joins. In this episode, we're going to talk about what is a join and how is it different from left and right joins and a full join, and how all of these can be used and what they're used for and what will be the expected results. In some tutorials, you see they use left outer join, the same for right outer join, but for the purposes of this course, I'll just stick to left join, right join, full join. The result is going to be the same. I'll take you through to my SQL database where I look at the two tables I've been looking at throughout this series. As you can tell, I'm looking at the course table and the enrollment table. The results from the course table on the top and the result from the enrollment table on the bottom. So when we talk about the concept of join, we are trying to figure out whether there is a match between two tables based on a certain field. Both these tables have a course code column, right? So we can basically do a lookup. It's just a lookup. So we can basically do a lookup between these two tables to see what records exist in the enrollment table that also exist in the course table, and what records exist in the course table that also exist in the enrollment table, and vice versa. It's almost similar to the concept of subqueries that we talked about in the last episode, but joins are pretty much quicker than subqueries, because in a subquery you say, give me anything that is in enrollment that matches some record in course table. That's exactly what we're doing with joins, right? It's just a lookup, but we are not going to use a subquery because subquery is pretty intensive in terms of resources. So the joining tables uses the join syntax. And how I'm doing it is I'm selecting anything from enrollment, and then I'm joining the course table based on the course code column. So I put aliases. So E and C are aliases for the enrollment table and course table, because I don't want to put the full table name there. So I could go like on enrollment.coursecode, it goes to course.coursecode, but it's just too much typing. So I put aliases E and C, and I'm referring to those aliases as my table names. So E and C stands for the table name that I'm referring to. It's important to note that with joins, you can also pretty much join as many tables as you want. So you're not restricted to just joining two tables. You can join the third table on a condition that matches any of the previous tables that you used. So I can go and join a student table and use the course table as one of the join conditions, or I can use the enrollment table as one of the join conditions, etc. If I execute this code, I return only the records that matched between the enrollment table and course code. So what table was in course code in the enrollment table, that is matched a course code in the course table. That's the only result that is returned. See, I didn't return anything here. So this was a direct match, right? So we went and pulled a direct match between the two tables based on course code. But what happens if I want to see all the students that enrolled, but the courses that they enrolled to don't exist in the course table? And we can go fix that, because we need to have all the records for all the courses. We use a left join in this case. And what a left join does is it returns all the records from the first table. So it's like saying the table on the left and the course table is on the right. It's the second table, right? So it returns all the records in the enrollment table, regardless of whether there is a match in the course table or not. So if I go and execute this, it returned all the students, and everything that is now from the course table means there is no match. So this record, this BC145 course, does not exist in our course table. Is that true? Let's check. If I go here in the course table, I have BC 145. But here it's telling me that BC 145 does not exist. The reason that could happen is there could be a space, there could be a space here in the course code that's not there in the course table, right? So we can always go and fix that. So that's what a left join does. If I want to see all the courses that are present in the courses table, whether or not the students enrolled for it, I can use a right join. So a right join is basically the opposite of the left join. It's basically returning all the results from the second table, whether or not there is a direct match in the first table. The output is something like this. So you can see here there is these courses, PH 496, MS 468. No, it's just PH 496 and BC 145, which we looked at earlier. All these ones don't have matching records. So no one is starting for the PhD Information Systems course, right? That's why it returned nows for the enrollment table and returned a result in the course table. So that's pretty much how the right join work. But what if I want to see everything? So I want to see all the records in the enrollment table, and I want to see all the records in the course table, whether there is a match or not. That's where the full join comes in, right? So with the full join, it will return everything. So it will return a combination of all the students who enrolled and all the courses that are available, whether there is a student enrolled or not. And you see there is nows for where there is no match on course code, and the same is true for the courses table. So a full join returns everything, and it's pretty handy. So you can go and see the gaps in both tables. I hope this tutorial was helpful, and thank you for going through with me throughout this whole series on Microsoft SQL Server Fundamentals. I believe at this point you have all the skills that are required to jump onto a full production server and start writing your SQL queries in a production environment. It was a pleasure taking you through this course, and it was pretty exciting. All the best in your SQL learning and future skills. I'll be setting up a new course on advanced SQL. If you're interested on it, you can just jump onto it, and you can learn more tricks and more syntax on Microsoft SQL Server. Once again, thank you for watching, and have a good day.